QR payment is not necessary to be used, but of course, for the shop's point of view, it's much cheaper.
How are you? Welcome to Coffee and Conversations. I'm your host, Karim Rafa. I'm joined today by Dr. Ogino, board member of the FinTech Association of Japan and founder and CEO of ZAISAN Net. Can you tell me a bit more what you do with the FinTech Association of Japan and what brings you to Singapore today?
Yeah, so the FinTech Association of Japan is the sole and the only non-profit organization in Japan, which has around 400 companies, consisting from the 150 startups with 250 enterprises. So everyone who does a business in the FinTech area is a kind of member, including the mega banks, mega insurance companies, carriers, or whatever you can name it. Most of the famous Japanese companies are basically our members. At the same time, we cover a little bit more than half of the FinTech area startups. So we can have the discussions inside to make the kind of consensus among what's needed for the next generation API, for example. What kind of regulation should be reduced or maybe changed or something like that.
So it's a bit of a curated ecosystem purely for the fintech space, and you make sure that everyone that needs to know everyone knows everyone, right?
Yeah. So we try to give out the what's the next fintech should be for the Japanese people, and try to let the people in Japan to know what's good about the new technologies or what kind of things have to be changed.
You're also a founder of your own startup.
Yes.
Do you also have your own startup on the FinTech Association?
Yes. So at the same time, I'm also the CEO of my own startup called ZAISAN Net. Currently, we are focusing on the business called DeepScore. It's going to be the kind of the new generation scoring for everyone concerned in the scoring world. Which is basically something similar to the lie detector, but it has the ability to make a score for someone who just come out for the first time. The conventional scoring is basically based on the use of history code. Basically, search for the history code in the past and makes a decision. But in the developing countries, almost no one has a kind of record. So you need to make up some way to make scores for someone who just come out.
Alternative credit rating is a very interesting space, especially like you said in developing countries, because you don't have that backlog of information that we have in, say, Singapore or Japan or in the West even. Do you use AI in your models to determine, or which kind of data points do you gather for your candidates?
So basically, we based on the saying called when you tell a lie, your eye moves. That's the old saying in Japan. I guess in the English world there is a saying when you tell a lie, your mouth moves. Basically, so it's been known for 1,000 years, probably 2,000 years, that your face parts would move when you try to make a lie on that. And especially for the lenders, the address is something they want to confirm it's the correct address, or the address they actually live is something they want to confirm. So those are the areas, we try to make the scores for the lenders. Yeah. The score itself can be used for anything. Of course, lending and also insurance company. In case of cancer insurance, insurance company knows, something like 2-3% of the customers actually think a lie, but they don't know who it is when the customer apply for. So they charge a little bit more, the insurance charge to everyone, since they need to cover the guy who fraud.
Are you thinking about going into other continents or other markets, say Africa, Europe, or South America?
Yeah, so for our first step, we'd like to go for the Southeast Asia area, where of course, most of the guys have more income next year, right? So it means less disaster for the guy who lend money, basically. So the people have more income and people will earn more money, and they need to buy something. And that's of course some of the why. So in China, as you've already observed, for the last 5 to 10 years, their income has been increased rapidly, and that's why a lot of guys have made a great business, including the Ant Financial. That's the most powerful scoring company at this moment in the world. And so, that kind of business will be happening everywhere in each country where the GDPs are going up. Yeah.
It's interesting that you mentioned Ant Financial because their entire scoring system is based on the fact that people actually use their service to process payments in the first place, so they actually know where money gets spent and how. As a third-party player, how do you integrate a market like that?
Yeah, so I mean, so their strength is, of course, I mean, their scoring is based on the historical of their or I mean, Alibaba's economy. So I mean, a lot of guys use the Alipay, or they may have used the Alibaba service. I mean, that's the kind of the historical they of course depend on. But at the same time, the Chinese government had makes all kinds of information available for everyone in the market. I mean, so that's something which already happened in China. So not only the Ant Financial guys, but even the Baidu guys makes the scoring themselves. And in our case, it's a bit different since we don't rely on the historical, as I said. At the same time, at the first time when the customers coming up to the market, and we use a kind of app and ask several questions, like 10 questions.
To come back to the Japanese FinTech Association that you're a part of, where do you see the next developments in FinTech, and which direction do you think that's going to go in? You told me that you have a consensus and you talk and you kind of decide. Can you give us a bit of insight?
Yeah, so at this moment, of course, QR payment is one of the hot topic in Japan. By looking at the huge success in China. Of course, the Alipay or WeChat Pay is already available in Japan, but almost no Japanese have used it. Only Chinese travelers use WeChat Pay, for example, in Japan. So, but the Japanese companies trying to have their own the QR payment method. Probably close to 100 companies are doing at this moment. It's on the way of reducing the number, I guess. Just some people will succeed. A lot of guys will disappear, I guess. But that's on the way. And in case of Japan, like the guys here in Singapore, we have most of the urban guys have payment methods called Suica Pasmo. That's the NFC-based payment, which is widespread already for last 10, 20 years. So a lot of guys already have that method, and the credit card is already spread out also. So of course, we still use cash, but the cashless payment method is already available for most of the guys. So QR payment is not necessary to be used. But of course, for the shop's point of view, it's much cheaper to introduce that payment method, of course. So that's on the way, and we see who will succeed or win in the market. Yeah, that's happening at this moment, except for the fraud detection type of thing, which I talked. Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
That's all the time we have. It's been very insightful.
Yeah.
Thank you all for watching. We'll see you soon.